Hello, I'm showing off the in-progress responsive website features that we're working on in Think. So here I have a simple page consisting of one section where the canvas, which is this white thing, has a different color to the page background. So the page full color is blue and the canvas is white. And then the section has a maximum width of 600 pixels, so that's what's causing that, along with the section padding of 30 pixels, is what's causing this white area to be pushed away from the edges, and it sits in the middle of the screen. So I'm basically going for that sheet of paper kind of design. And then I also have a row of images down here. So there's a row with a bunch of cells, and each cell contains an image. And I also embedded a video from YouTube just because. So basically sections, canvases, and then rows of cell make up grids, and grids are already fluid by default so that your content cannot hang out of the edge of the screen. So if I change the preview size down, you can see as the page goes smaller, everything just sort of the images and the videos automatically sort of scale down. And then, yeah, so what's actually new is that beyond fluid grids, responsiveness is now entirely opt-in. So you start off with no breakpoints. So let me just go up here. So you can see that there aren't any breakpoints, it's just the default styling there. So by default, see up here, depending on what's selected, these things up in the top left corner change. So those are the sort of styling options. So you have font weight, font size, line height, color, margin and alignment for paragraphs, and then images or the canvas or whatever you have selected will change. So that's sort of the no breakpoint or the default styling. So and the preview starts off at full screen. So you can change the preview size using this widget bottom right, so you don't have to resize the window. You can just drag this thing. You see there it says the pixel size 800 to 55 and going smaller, and then that changes. And then as you can see, the top left, all of the options went away now because I'm on no specific breakpoints at all. You can go back to the default by pressing this close button or cancel button. So that's I'm on default styling again back at 100%, or alternatively I can press this button here, so that brings it back so you can see all of the default styling options appear top left again. So what I'm actually trying to achieve here, the problems with this design that I'm trying to solve, is this 30 pixels padding around it, that makes this look like a sheet of paper, becomes a bit ridiculous as you go smaller. See there, imagine this was an iPhone or mobile phone. You have this double padding. There's like 30 pixels of blue on every side and like another 20 pixels or so of white, which means that very little content actually fits on the screen. So I'd like that to go away on mobile so you can fit as much text as possible. And also, as you can see, this heading starts to wrap, and then the paragraph font size is just a bit too big for mobile. So I would like to fit more text, basically. So what I'm going to do is, somewhere I happen to have measured this before, so I'd say 4 or 5, because I know just below that things are going to start to wrap. And I always add a few pixels because different operating systems, different browsers render text slightly differently. So you see this it says 405 pixels, that's the preview size, and which is also reflected in the add button there. So I'm going to add a breakpoint here. Now you see top left, styling options appeared. So if I go back to default, see I have more styling options, and at other breakpoints I have less. Basically, we don't allow you to override things like the font family or the font color. You can only change things like font size or margins and padding and alignment, things that actually you might actually want to change at smaller screen sizes. So what I'm going to do now is, while I'm here, I'm going to drop, okay, see there, this is the font size, and it's grayed out that 16 pixels is what is inherited from the default size. So if I change that to 14 to just drop it down a little bit, see I can fit more text in now. While I'm here, I'm also going to change the heading size to be a bit smaller. And then you can clear this again as well. See that just remove the override and that takes you back to the default again. And then the main thing that I want to do is on the section, I'm going to change the padding. See, the padding is 30 pixels is the default that's inherited. So I'm going to change that to 0. So immediately you have that sort of black text on a white background flash design. It's very common in, say, with, say, Tumblr themes, where it's like often the big thing sitting in the middle of the screen on desktop, but on mobile you use the entire screen just for just for your content, so no extra padding and so on. See that 320 pixels, that's about an iPhone, so that should look familiar. Then also, so you kind of explained, you can always easily jump between your breakpoints again, so you just click it, so you don't have to mess with the sizer again. That takes you back to the size or default. And then it's easy to, I can remove the override here, as I've explained again. Or if you're not on a breakpoint, you can actually delete the breakpoint by pressing that. And that just, like, then you're just back to where you were, see, when you started. So yeah, not so easy to just mess things up. Another thing that's applicable to some designs, but not really this one, is when you have rows of content like text or images or something, what often happens is, as you can see, these images get smaller and smaller. Of course, these are like little icons, so they scale very well. But if these were, say, photographs or something, or like columns of text, what often happens is that the columns will go too narrow. So at some point you can just add a breakpoint and say, go to the row and say collapse. So then basically the rows will collapse into one column, and then things will just sit below it, which often works very well for on mobile. But of course, in this case, it looks a bit ridiculous because those are actually just icons. That's something to keep in mind. And then another thing that's actually an older feature is for headings, you can just turn on fit text. So you can just tell these two headings to fit, and then using some JavaScript, it will size the font so that the line of text just fits perfectly. And as you resize, that'll size down as well. Then you don't have to override the font size at all. Of course, if someone doesn't have JavaScript, it'll still work as if you never toggled that setting and just use the font size and height from here. So yeah, that's about it. Another thing that you probably couldn't see in the screencast is I often press escape. Escape just hides the entire interface, and it also unfocuses whatever was focused. And if you press escape again, it goes back to exactly where you were. So you see up top left, the properties that was expanded is expanded. It placed the focus exactly where it was, and yeah, so you can just keep toggling on and off. It's handy for when the interface obscures something, or if you just want to see how the final product will look exactly. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for listening.